Hello and welcome to another edition of For the Record. I'm Sean Murphy. My guest today is Jean Baur. She's an author. She wrote a book. Here it is, Joy Unleashed, the story of Bella, the unlikely therapy dog. And we present Bella, who's looking at the camera right now. What are the odds? Good direction. Jean, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much. Nice to be here.
Tell us about this book and why you wrote this book.
Yeah.
Tell us about Bella.
Well, lots of stories.
Yeah.
I wrote the book because although there are many books about dogs and many books even about therapy dogs, I didn't really find any that showed what I learned going to so many places with Bella.
Can you give a definition of a therapy dog,
Sure.
what they are?
So a therapy dog is a dog who's, first of all, has to be certified, get through all the tests. Why don't you have a seat, Bella? Sit. You can't hide.
She's very good at commands, by the way.
Yeah, the girl. And a therapy dog's sole purpose really is to visit and comfort other people. So unlike a service dog who has more training, but whose job is to take care of one person, a therapy dog's job is to take care of lots of people.
That's an excellent distinction because people hear the term service dog, they hear the term therapy dog, but there is a difference.
There's a huge difference, and I call them ambassadors of exuberance. Because,
Bella is for sure.
Yeah, but I think all therapy dogs are, because that you walk into a room, you walk down the corridor in a hospital, you go into a nursing home, you go into a classroom, and things light up. So it's really, really neat. So
you could have as many people walk into the room, maybe give speeches, and people will be there, will be ho-hum, bring a therapy dog in, and you're right, they light up. You know?
And sometimes even people very near death. I mean, I visited a woman in L&M Hospital who was pretty comatose, and I asked her daughter, who was sitting there, if she wanted me to bring Bella up to the bed, and one of Bella's commands is paws up, so I told her to put her paws up, and this woman opened her eyes and smiled.
That's fantastic.
So you just never know.
What is it about a therapy dog that just brings out exuberance in people, like you describe her?
Well, I think it's nonverbal. You know, there's something about dogs or cats or elephants or whatever animal you like, but that just makes us feel good.
Yeah,
and,
there's some kind of connection there for some people. Yeah.
And also it's non-judgmental. Like in the nursing home.
Excellent point.
Bella doesn't care if you slur your words. She doesn't care if you forget words. She doesn't care if you can't talk. She doesn't care if you can't do long division. You know, she doesn't.
Excellent.
She doesn't care.
I think that's why people love animals, is because they are, first of all, unconditional love and non-judgmental.
Yes.
Because people are very judgmental.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. So that was really the impetus behind the book, was to open the door into this kind of magical world of what happens when dogs visit people, connect with people on a deep level. And in the nursing home, for example, we're there every Wednesday. So these are ongoing relationships that last for years sometimes.
Yeah. So, and you can honestly say that maybe Bella has changed some people's lives
for
the
sure.
better just by visiting.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's excellent.
Yeah.
And Bella gets to know them and remembers them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And she has them all trained in the nursing home. They all have treats.
Yeah. All have treats. Boy, she's working the system, isn't she?
Oh, she works the system.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. So, what made you decide one day, you know what, I love this experience, I love what I'm doing, and I want to share the experience with the world, and I think one way to do it, I guess, for you would be, I want to write a book, right?
Yeah, because I've always been a writer, and I come from a family of writers, so I'm genetically disposed. I just had to go that way. But I was keeping a journal, and I would look at the journal and then think, you know, this is a great story, and this is a great story. And how about the time she helped the boy who was so afraid of dogs he couldn't look at one without shaking? And I have a picture of him in the book with Bella in his lap. You know, so these stories just kind of began to add up, and I wrote the book.
I want you to tell me more about Bella, how you two came together, how she adopted you.
Yes,
right?
she did. Yes, she did. Well, in 2006, our previous dog named Angus, who was a collie shepherd, also a rescue, died. And my husband and I waited about a year, and then we decided we were time for another dog. We went.
Did you wait because there was grief?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and I sometimes I'm not sure if it's a good idea to run out right away after you lose one and get one.
We couldn't.
Yeah.
We just couldn't. But he was so special.
Yeah.
And in fact, that's how the book starts, with Angus died. And then, so a friend of mine was connected. We were living in Pennsylvania and working in New Jersey, and a friend of mine was connected to a group called St. Hubert's Animal Welfare Center, and they had a shipment of puppies from Puerto Rico. So we saw one online, a cute little brown one, and we thought, oh, that'll be fun. So we went over there, and told them what we wanted, and they interviewed us very carefully.
Good. They want to make sure the right dog gets with the right person.
Exactly.
Right.
So they brought the little brown puppy out into this fenced-in yard, and he kind of looked at us, trotted away. So
I've not selected you.
yeah, you are not it.
Yeah.
So the woman who worked there said, "This is not the dog for you."
It's
So-
true what they say. They pick you, don't they?
It is.
Yeah.
So then my husband had his eyes on Bella, and so the girl brought her out, and Bella, sniffed around for a little while. Then she sat on my husband's foot,
Oh, that tells you something right
and
there.
she did
huh?
not move.
Oh.
She did not move. So
She was the one.
so she was about 4 months old, and so began a wild drama because she was a crazy puppy. I mean, really crazy.
How old is she now?
She'll be 10 in January.
She is 10 now, and off camera, she is a bundle of energy chasing the ball around the studio. So I can imagine what that energy level must have been like as a puppy.
She was so bad we had to have her on a leash in the house.
In the house. Wow.
Because she would just, anything that was in her way, she would just charge into it. She ate everything. She ate my sandals. She ate a pillow. She ate the duvet cover on the bed. She dug craters in the yard. So finally,
Not just holes, craters.
Craters.
You know, tunnels almost,
and
right?
we did obedience, and we tried to walk her, and she's like,
Well, so how did those initial training classes go? They didn't take?
Not really, because there was another dog
Oh.
training with us, and she thought this was playtime. This was fun.
Okay.
So she's like biting the other dog and rolling, and
It's like when you have to get a tutor because you have to specifically concentrate on just one student, right?
so finally I said to my vet, we love this dog, but she's driving us crazy. And he said, Jean, this is a dog who needs a job. And I said, a job? And it was kind of funny because I was a career coach, so I thought that was ironic. And he said, yeah, why don't you do agility with her? So for 2 years we did agility training, learning to go over jumps and through tunnels and teeters.
And how'd she do?
She was pretty good at it because she's so fast.
Yeah.
But she wasn't great at it because she'd get so excited and she'd go over a jump and I'd say tunnel and she'd say, no, I think I'd rather go this way.
So she'd lose interest quickly.
Well,
yeah.
she did which things her way.
Okay.
Oh, she had a lot of interest. And especially in the manure in the horse barn.
Oh.
That was the best in the world.
Oh, to jump in and
We won't go there, but yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
So we did 2 years of that, and then a neighbor of mine said, you know something, and she had been doing agility with me with her dog, and she said, I think I'd like my dog to be a therapy dog. And I said, wow, that sounds interesting. Let's try. So we did it together, and we went through the testing.
And how'd she do on that? Obviously, what she's doing today, so she must have done well.
Yeah, the step before the therapy dog test, the American Kennel Club's Canine Good Citizen, we had a really bad experience with one tester who rejected us, so we just went to another one and passed. So, you have to be stubborn about this.
So it's interesting. So sometimes it just isn't chemistry between a person, just like when you initially were looking for your replacement.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
you just never know. There might be chemistry between two, but not with these two.
It might not work.
Yeah.
And then we passed that, and then we did the therapy dog test. The only part of the test that she did not pass was when the tester with a German Shepherd was doing a circle around us, and Bella was supposed to be, I was standing, and Bella was supposed to be next to me sitting, and she was afraid of the German Shepherd.
Oh.
So when the Shepherd got behind us, she got up and looked,
Yeah.
and she wasn't supposed to. So we passed, but with the one
Little caveat.
yes,
yeah,
that we could not do the courthouse, because in the courthouse, dogs are in very close proximity.
Right.
And I promised we would never do the courthouse, and we haven't.
It's interesting, though, that you decided to almost get a second opinion, because if you just accepted that a person's opinion that this isn't going to work out, she may never have been a therapy dog.
Well, that's true.
You know?
That's true. And that was the really emotionally hard part of this particular evaluator, is she just said, you have a difficult dog. You have a lot of work to do. She's not ready to pass this test. And the other evaluator 3 weeks later said, this is a wonderful dog. She did a great
Why so different, varying opinions?
It's just people.
Yeah.
But
But isn't there a standard set of rules and
there
regulations?
is, but I think this first woman whose class I had taken, and so I got to know her over a lot of weeks, I think she had some issues.
Okay, I
and
got
they
you.
just came out this way,
Yeah.
which was too bad.
So once she was approved, then the real training began, right?
Yes,
And,
yes.
and tell me about that.
Well, you think to be a volunteer it's easy, but to get into that hospital, oh my goodness. First of all, I had to have 2 TB tests. Then Bella and I both had to get photo IDs. Then
She keeps her license with her at
oh,
all
always,
times?
yes,
Yeah,
it's
okay.
in the bag.
The driver's license, yeah.
Then we had to, my friend Kathy and I had to go to a half-day training at the hospital to understand all the rules and regulations. Then we had to shadow the man who had started the therapy dog program in the hospital.
Both you and Bella shadowed him?
Yes.
Wow.
So he was there with his 2 dogs, my friend Kathy and her dog Brandon, Bella and me. So we were a pack.
I mean, yeah.
Going down the hospital hallways, very cool.
Now, all these dogs, since they've been trained, they, I assume, obviously got along well?
They did.
Okay.
They did. But again, I'm careful and I watch
Yeah.
Bella and when she's walking and focused on something else, other dogs really don't bother her.
Okay.
If one of them came right at her, then she might get afraid and
Well, I think anybody would. You know,
Yeah.
if someone comes at you, you're going to kind of, your automatic instinct is to sort of defend yourself, right?
yes, yeah, and that's definitely hers. So
But you got through it?
she got through it. I mean, my terror was I was going to get lost in the hospital because
Yeah,
it was so
it's a
big.
maze,
And I
yeah.
was like, how are we going to find our ways out? But we learned how to go to a patient's room and say, would you like to see the dogs? And then wait to see what they said and then go in carefully. And,
Are there some that decline the offer?
oh, yes.
Is that right?
And there's some we're not allowed in. If there's any, what they call precautions, any infectious,
Yeah.
either their immune system's weakened or they have something that's infectious, then you can't go in.
Right.
But there's signs on the door so you know.
But the people who just decline it, it's just hard for me to fathom not wanting to see this bundle of joy and that face come in and be able to brighten your day. You know?
Well, yeah, I agree with you, but I think some people are in so much pain or just
That's
so
true.
distracted that they just,
Nothing is going to brighten their day.
I don't want a dog.
Yeah.
But, or maybe they're cat people, who knows?
Jean Baur has written a book. It's called Joy Unleashed, the story of Bella, the unlikely therapy dog. We're going to take a short break and come right back. I'm Sean Murphy. This is For the Record. Stay there.
What if one day you could no longer speak, walk, feed yourself, or breathe without support, yet you could still think and feel every emotion? That day has already come for thousands of people with ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, a deadly disease with no cure or effective treatment.
ALS has already destroyed my ability to do many things I love. But with your help, we can find treatments and a cure. Join in the fight against ALS.
And join in the fight for hope. Visit actionals.org.
I just couldn't focus. I was always interrupting my teammates. Early in my career, my coach approached me, and he said, I think that, sometimes I don't feel like you're focused. So next day I went and saw a doctor. It was my ADHD. Like many kids with ADHD, I didn't outgrow it.
If you were diagnosed with ADHD as a kid, you might still have it. Find out more. Take a quiz at ownitquiz.com to help recognize the symptoms. Then talk with your doctor.
It's your ADHD. Own it.
Hi. I'm your grandson's college roommate. We're in spring break together in Jamaica, and he's been in a bad accident. His jaw is wired shut. He needs money for surgery. He told me to ask you for it.
You wouldn't fall for it here. No. So don't fall for it here. Think before you send money. Don't fall for the person in need scam. Learn more at scamawareness.org. Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. But most people with hepatitis C don't know they're infected. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you could still have hepatitis C, a serious liver disease. People can live for decades without feeling sick, but over time, hepatitis C can cause serious health problems and even lead to liver cancer. Getting tested is the only way to know if you're infected. That's why the CDC recommends everyone born from 1945 to 65 get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments are available that can cure this disease, So talk to your doctor about getting tested. It could save your life.
Welcome back to For the Record. I'm Sean Murphy. My guest is Jean Baur. She has written a book. The book is called Joy Unleashed, the story of Bella, the unlikely therapy dog. Now, the term unlikely therapy dog, was it that you never thought that it would happen? Or
Well, that's part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, the first unlikely is that she survived where she came from, which is Dead Dog Beach in Puerto Rico.
Yes,
So,
yes.
so that was the first unlikely. And
horrible
place.
Yeah.
And she was flown with 40 dogs to Newark, New Jersey.
Was she essentially I mean,
Well-
without getting too graphic, is it a place for stray dogs that they just live and hang out?
Well, stray dogs, dump dogs,
Yeah.
but
Terrible.
the things that happen to
Yeah.
them there are very bad. And then, surviving her puppyhood was another challenge.
With all that energy? Yeah.
And then she's part terrier, lab, and whippet, so the terrier mindset is kind of like, what do you know? I know everything. So
Typical teenager. Right?
yeah, it's like having a perpetual teenager. In fact, there's a chapter in the book called When a Dog is Like a Teenager. And so just getting her through all that training. But I think actually, Sean, what makes her unlikely is also what makes her really good at it. Because she just knows, she gets it, and she senses what people need. So in the hospital, I was visiting a patient, and the nurse said, have her jump up on the chair next to the bed. And the first week, she did that. And the second week, when I went back, she wouldn't get on the chair. And I'm looking at her thinking, why isn't she listening to me? And she jumped up on the bed and curled up next to him.
Oh.
And it was amazing. It was amazing. So she's very, very good at what she does.
When she gets time off, can she be a regular dog? Can she
yes.
play
Oh, yes.
with other dogs?
Oh, yeah.
Chase the toy, the ball, all that stuff? Yeah.
In fact, part of the title, the unleashed part, is literal, is because I realized that this is a dog who was born to run. She is so fast with those whippet genes. She kind of lowers her body down, and then she just goes. And you can hardly see her. She's so fast.
She got other dog friends?
She has dog friends, but she also just likes to run, whether it's dogs or not dogs.
Could you go to a dog park? Can she intermingle?
Not really
No?
so much. She's afraid at dog parks because
Okay.
if a big dog comes at her,
That's a good point,
she's
yeah.
afraid. But we've tried, trust me.
Yeah.
But the unleashed part that was a big part of her training, was I wanted her to be off leash so that she could really run and really just be a dog. And we had some heart-stopping moments where I lost her, but
She took off?
yeah, in the,
Well, yeah.
in the woods,
Oh,
right?
Yeah. It's her, like, in her nature.
Yeah, but she came back.
Oh,
so
Boy, that was some tough times when you
it
were
was
sweating
scary.
it out. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought,
You probably sent the husband out to comb the
he
woods.
didn't know about it.
Oh, well, he does now, if he didn't before.
It would have been really
Now,
scary.
let me ask you about her relationship with your husband, because you told me about that first time as a puppy plopping down on his
Yeah.
shoes. What's her relationship like with him over the years?
She adores him.
Yeah?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's the alpha male, and she just loves him.
Is she allowed on furniture or?
Well, yes.
Okay. Well,
mo-
she
more-
has decided that, not you,
More
right?
and more.
So she could be a couch potato.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
In fact, this picture on the cover
Yeah.
is her in her bed on the couch.
That's great.
So she's supposed to be on the bed on the couch, but the back feet stretch out one side and the head.
Oh, they're bed hogs too,
yeah.
right?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah, and sometimes they'll go vertical instead of horizontal, and just deciding that they're going to take up as much space.
It's my bed.
It's her
Everything
bed.
is mine.
Now you guys have a cat in the house too, correct?
Yes, Henry.
Henry, tell me, what is a relationship like with Henry?
Well, it was scary at first because
Really?
we weren't sure.
Oh.
And there's a chapter in the book called The Cat.
Was Henry there first? Or
Oh,
was
yes.
She? Okay, so it was his house.
It was his house, and there's a chapter called The Cat is Not a Snack. So we had to teach Bella that this was not part of her lunch menu. But the Henry, also a rescue, thinks he's a dog. So he is unafraid of dogs, and he trained Bella pretty quickly that they were going to be friends.
You got a few whacks in? Or,
Yeah. But Henry will not use his claws on Bella. He
Just
will not
kinda-
scratch him.
So, but they love each other
They
now,
do.
right? Yeah.
And there's a beautiful picture of them with their heads together, lying on the bed. There's a couple of pictures of them snuggled up together.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now I want to get to the writing of the book, because you were a writer and you kept a journal about Bella, so you had it was ready. It was all there for you. You just had to put it into a book form. edit it a
Well-
little bit and things like that. But I want you to talk to me about the process of writing a book. When you,
Yeah.
how do you start it, and then where do you go?
Well, it's a hard process. I mean, one writer, I think it was John Gardner, said it's a little bit like crossing the Atlantic in a rowboat. You know, you
That hard? Wow.
Well, you just don't really always know where you're going. But what I decided to do was to alternate chapters so that one chapter is about Bella as a working therapy dog, and then the next chapter is about when we got her and her puppy years and her training, and then eventually the two pieces kind of catch up with each other. So that format seemed to work, but you know, it was a lot of juggling to figure out, well, did I already tell a story that was like this story, or does this really show Bella in all the different ways that she is with
In that
people?
case, it's always better to have another set of eyes or maybe an editor that can kind of give you some advice about
yes.
what direction to go. Because nowadays, the way that technology exists, anybody can self-publish.
That's
and
right.
you know, you can choose to go in that direction, but you chose to go in the more traditional direction of
Yes.
publishing a book, right?
Yes, yes. So I have good friends who are readers. They read early drafts. Then the editor at Skyhorse Publishing read it and made edits. Then the copy editor made more edits. So you go through a lot of processes with it.
And when you do that traditional path, do you sort of in a way have to sell the idea to them for
Oh,
them to want to
absolutely.
publish it? They're not just going to say, "Okay, you want to publish? We will."
Oh no, it took 9 months.
Is that right?
It took me 9 months. Like,
Is it to convince them, or is this just the whole process
No,
of
to
editing?
convince them.
Just to convince them.
9 months.
So you go into a meeting, you sit down and say, "This
Oh
is."
no, it's never face to face.
Oh, it's not. It's always so it's on the phone and email. Huh?
Well, so I couldn't. Here's how it started. I read a book that this editor had edited, another book called "Saving Riley, Rescuing Myself," about a veteran and a dog. Great book. And he thanks his editors by name. So I knew the name of the editor, and
Okay.
I knew she was at Skyhorse. Well, I couldn't get her email, which was weird, but I couldn't. So I have these beautiful cards with Bella's picture on them. So I sent her a card with a little note about the book. Then I waited weeks.
She must get like these things all the
Oh,
time.
yeah.
So like she's sifting through them.
Yeah.
Probably has an assistant, you know, that maybe
Yeah, it'd probably go right
some
in-
things that she might never see in the
might
first
go
place.
right into the trash can.
We call it the circular file.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, long story short, it took me 9 months of a concerted campaign to get her to say yes.
Wow.
And she did. And then another year to get the book published.
Ugh. Is that a normal, typical
Yeah,
process,
yeah.
right? Why so long to convince her in the first place?
Well, because there's a lot of books out there. She didn't know who I was.
Do you have to be persistent? I mean, otherwise,
Past persistent.
you have to come up with a different
You
word.
have to be crazy.
Right? Is that right?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
otherwise you just will fall amongst the many that will never get seen in the first
right.
place. And
That's
that's
right.
probably why some people choose to self-publish.
Yes.
You know?
But you have to be smart and persistent. So I knew she was a good match because of the book that she had done.
Did you have plan Bs in your mind?
Well, I tried Plan Bs, like
Oh.
NCs and X's, but
C, C,
they
D,
didn't
E, F,
happen.
G. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
they didn't happen. So, you know, so you can't like pester a person every day or
Right.
every week. But I
Start
would,
sending them, you know, boxes of cigars or whatever,
but then I
you know.
found her on Twitter, you know, so
Oh.
I would send her little tweets, and then because
Not quite stalking, but getting...
yeah, pretty close, pretty close. Because my problem was my first 2 books are career books.
Okay.
So it wasn't like just a natural of her saying, "Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Jean can write a dog book."
See, but I thought that you having past books would have been, you're not this fly-by-night person, you're not a first-timer, you have experience.
Well, true.
That wouldn't help in your favor?
It helped, but
Okay.
it didn't help enough to make her say yes without a big
Okay.
struggle.
Oh my goodness.
But it was good. It was worth it.
What do you think was the clinching factor for her to finally say yes? What was it? What convinced her finally?
You know, I don't really know, Sean. My guess is that just the stories
Right.
that I kept sharing with her of what Bella did and how unusual this is, and that you have to show in a proposal. My proposal is like 58 pages long. You have to show what all the other books are out there that are like your book and why your book is better.
Okay. Because she needs to know why to choose your book over all these others.
It's a huge amount of work.
And you're basically you're sending her a manuscript. It's not a finished copy because this book gets edited up, 10 times.
Yeah, she didn't
before.
have to see the whole book. With nonfiction, you can do an outline and maybe 4 chapters. but you have to do a very extensive proposal that shows this is how my book is different, this is who's going to buy it, this is why it's going to be successful, all the time keeping your fingers crossed because you don't really know. You don't know.
You're right. You're right.
You don't know.
So she finally says yes, and why does it take a year to finally get it out onto
Well,
the shelves?
that's just the way it is because
Okay.
they've got other stuff in production and
That's a good point. You're sitting in the can, so to speak. You're
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
They don't just say yes, and then the next day they start working on your book. You
Nope.
know.
Nope.
Now, how many drafts did you send when they cut this out, editing that? Were there disagreements? Did you say this has to stay in? That kind
There
of
were
thing.
very few disagreements.
Okay.
I thought my editor was incredible. I just
Well, you have to say that.
no, but
yeah.
no, I really like
I
her.
know, I'm
I
kidding.
do, I do. She was fun to work with, and you know, we had a good collaboration. So if I felt strongly about something, she was pretty willing to
That's good.
compromise.
I mean, if you're the publisher, you have to allow the author to have some creative liberty. I mean, that's the whole reason they're writing the book in the first place. You can't take away their core.
it's amazing what you could take away.
Is that right?
Yeah, like the title. The title of your book is not really yours.
Is that right?
They
So
decide-
was this your idea or her
Yeah,
idea?
it was mine.
Okay, so you got the title in there.
Yeah. But I was holding my breath till I got the approval, because I really like the title.
It's a great title, great book. Whether you're an animal lover, whether you're fascinated with the topic of therapy dogs, and how Bella started as a puppy and came to what she is right now, which is on a TV show, plopped on the floor sleeping while we're recording this show. But you never know that Bella was a complete ball of energy at other times.
No.
Are you going to write more? The other books?
I don't know. I haven't gotten there yet.
Okay.
But this one's keeping me very busy.
For people to want to read this book, where can they go and get it?
They can get it anywhere. I love to support independent bookstores. So any independent bookstores have it. The libraries have it. Amazon has it. It's in a Kindle version. And
How about a website?
on my website, which is joyunleashed.org.
Do you have two websites, or is this the one that you want to, just for the
I
purposes of
have
the
two
book?
websites. One is about me as a speaker and a writer, and
Okay.
the one and then one about the book. But
Can-
so www.joyunleashed.org.
All right.
is the
And you don't mind with technology being the way it is if people end up, reading the electronic version on
I
their
don't care.
iPad or Kindle?
I don't
As
care.
long as they read about Bella, right?
That's it.
All right.
That's it.
Well, a pleasure having you both on the show today, even though one of you participated a lot more than the other.
And the other slept.
Right. And the other slept, but you'll be getting some treats later, right?
She sure will.
All right.
She sure will. Thank you, Sean.
Gene Baur, get this book, Joy Unleashed, the story of Bella, the unlikely therapy dog. Hey, Bella. Oh, okay. Well, I'll barely look at you, but that is our show for today. Oh, let's see if we can get a treat before we wrap up the show. By the way, you can see this show and many others on our YouTube sites. Until next time, I'm Sean Murphy. This is For the Record. Take care.